afternoon, everybody. How are you today? And welcome to the latest edition of Drew Mania Live. Nice to have you with us on this Tuesday, the 18th day of September, the year 2018. And of course, this is yours truly, Andrew L. Perry. Thank you for that warm applause. As always, coming to you live and at you from the busy streets, which is Brooklyn, New York, which is raining non-stop since this morning as I chat to you what is happening in the world of sports. We have plenty to do today, plenty of sports to do today, so let's get right to it. We'll preview the last time the baseball, the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mets and the Phillies. And as the MLB season is going down to the going down to the wire, most of the teams has been eliminated for playoff contention, and we're looking forward to NHL preseason, which is already underway, and LeBron is starting his practice with the Los Angeles Lakers, his new team. So we'll get to all that, but let's recap the NFL. Recap the National Football League as after what happened last week. What an NFL week we had. What a week 2 we had. Let's start off with the New York teams as it is very similar. Where you want to start? I don't know where we could start. We'll start off with the team which is more concerning. And to me, that team is the New York Football Giants. And if the Giants gonna have Saquon Barkley involved in your offense, the offensive line have got to do a better job than that. The offensive line have looked awful with a capital A, and I'm not exaggerating. They couldn't run Sam Barkley had the most touches, and he couldn't. And it's not Sam Barkley's fault. It's not Saquon Barkley's fault. But the offensive line couldn't even make a hole for him. It really could. Most of it is credit to the Cowboys' defensive line. I'm not taking anything away from that. And another thing, Eli had to make better decisions, and had to make better decisions in the quarterback. But the Giants couldn't make it to the Giants. By the looks of it, the Giants couldn't make it. But the thing that's not what really jumps at me. What really jumps at me most of all, a lack of energy. I don't know about you folks, but when I saw that energy that Sunday night, I didn't like it at all. I don't like it at all. Even though they played for a team that lose. For a team that this is like a game against Jacksonville in my opinion, where they could have won. They had a chance to make it interesting, but it was by the time they made a run, it was too little, too late. And let's stay with the offensive line as far as the running game. Again, they have to do a better job than that. Offensive line have got to make better holes for them. They have to do a better job. I know I sound repetitive, but you know what? Saquon Barkley, you basically drafted Jim Brown. You basically drafted Barry Sanders. And if you're gonna be included in the offensive line, and outside of Saquon Barkley got to stop running, stop trying to dodge tackle, stop running to the side instead of running to the middle, because all night, as you can see, even when he catches the ball, he trying to run straight, he trying to run to the sideline instead of running straight up. And I wish he would have done that. He would have run up more to the game, if you know what I mean. But outside of that, they have to do again. The Giants offense has looked. I don't know what else to say. There's really no what else to say. They look awful. They really have. They look future awful, whatever you want to call it. They have, in the last 2 games, Eli Manning has not played well. Let's be honest. He has not played well. And we could blame Pat Shurmur, even though this is his first year, and I get to cut Pat Shurmur in a second. Okay? Eli Manning got to do it better. Eli Manning, I know he's not. Listen, he's not Peyton Manning. I understand that. I'm not asking him to throw 300 yards. I'm not asking him to be. I'm not asking him to throw the ball 300 billion times. But Eli Manning got to make better decisions as far as you don't have to throw it to Beckham all the time. Because one thing about Odell Beckham Jr. is gonna create crowds, and when a player in that magnitude like Odell, you got to throw it to other wide receivers. And I understand other wide receivers got to help him out too. That's a fact. They got to help him out too. But not only that, I see Eli Manning a couple of times miss guys who was wide open. He did. And don't tell me that's not true. Eli Manning got to do a much better job of making quarterback and making better decisions. He's been in the league long enough. He may not be the franchise player anymore, but he as a quarterback of the New York Football Giants. This is as an upgrade for what happened last year with Ben McAdoo. This is unacceptable. And I know this is the Cowboys and everything got to give, okay? And I know the Cowboys defense, I'm not taking anything away. The defense did a superb job. But you know what? Again, the offense got to pick it up a little bit. And especially against the Texans, even though the Texans are not good as the Cowboys, but they are better. And J.J. Watt, Clowney, those boys are going to come after you. They're going to come after you. So the offensive line, Flowers, Hernandez, they gotta pick it up. They really have. Saquon Barkley should have at least 80 yards. I understand he haven't had a 100-yard game yet. But the running game has to pick it up. The Giants haven't had a running game in a long time. But how do you expect Saquon Barkley to have a better running game if the offensive line don't create holes for him? The Giants, it's the same offensive line we seen last year. It really is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as far as the coaching got to be aggressive. 4th and inches. Why won't you go for it on 4th and inches? You punt the football when it's 4th and inches? Listen, I understand you can't go for it on your own 20 on early in the game, but I'm sorry, to go for the first down and you're that close, 4th and inches, I'm sorry, you gotta take a chance, you gotta go for it. You really have. You drafted Saquon Barkley for a reason. You spend your whole entire money on the offensive line. Why not take that chance? That move made no sense to me. I understand this is not the play. I understand this is not the playoffs. You're playing the Dallas Cowboys. You got to take a chance. I've seen a lot of plays that's really unacceptable. Really have. Awful, putrid, whatever. It's still bad. Either way. And for a second, I was a fool to thought, the Giants could have made it interesting. And they could. They could have made it interesting. But it was too little too late. And again, Ingram was the best. Ingram outside of Odell had a solid game. He really had. There's no way around it. But again, Eli Manning, you won 2 Super Bowls. I know you're a better quarterback. I know you got a good arm. I know he's a heck of a quarterback. He still is. He's not Peyton. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's damn good. He's damn good enough. And Eli Manning has to do. Eli Manning, as far as had to make better decisions make better decisions. Great. I seen you can't continue to keep missing guys. You really can't. Time after time again, we see Eli Manning missing guys who was wide open. Wide open. This can't continue. Otherwise, you're going to see the same thing we be seeing since the Giants made the playoffs in 2015. The same thing. Before the Green Bay Packers, before the wild card debacle at Green Bay. We all know what happened. And by the looks of things, what we see the past 2 weeks is the same old stuff from the New York Football Giants. Nothing is going to change. And the schedule does not help. As far as the New York Jets is concerned, I like what I see from Sam Darnold. I like toughness. I didn't love him when he was at USC. I have to admit, I didn't love him when I was at USC. But if as a Jets fan, you gotta like what you see. You really have. I haven't said all that. The penalties have to stop. The problem with the Jets for the past couple of years, in my eyes, the Jets has been very undisciplined. Very undisciplined. I know the Dolphins, and I'll get to the Dolphins in a minute. The Jets defense had its moment. Jets defense had its moments against the Dolphins last Sunday. They really did. They finally turned the ball over. And the Dolphins, they didn't really do nothing until the second half. Rest of shift, but what the Jets do, what they normally do. They don't take advantage of momentums. And in the result, we saw the same damn thing we see from the Jets all the time. They play great. They pump their chest. They gas each other's heads. And what happened the next game? They lay a freaking egg. That's what we see from the Jets all the damn time. All the time. And what we saw on Sunday was no exception. You want me to? You could say you want to say it's a disgrace. Go right ahead. But if you're a Jets fan or a football fan for that matter, or a New York fan for that matter, you've seen this story of playoff a bunch of times, and it doesn't get really old. It really doesn't. Ryan Tannehill to me is he's an okay quarterback.